Is up, guys? It's Xenogard here, and I just wanted to show off the build that I have been playing throughout Metamorph League. It is a Purifying Flame Miner. We are a Saboteur. We are level 95 currently, and yeah, we have had a lot of fun. We are low life. We've done a lot of different things with this build. I'll go over the skill tree a little bit later. I'll leave a POB link in the description. But yes, we have basically built what is essentially just a pure bosser, and I'm gonna go in the background and I'm just gonna some kind of talking about the build a little bit. I will go ahead and I'll show off some boss skills here and there. But this is what the passive skill tree looks like. We essentially are grabbing Pain Attunement because we are low life, and we're basically grabbing all the mine nodes we can. We're grabbing all the ES and that we can. We're grabbing some of the mana nodes that are efficient for us, mana and ES. We're getting all the reduced reservation we possibly can on the tree. We're even getting it here. This point isn't absolutely necessary, but it is a quality of life. Leadership at level 95 would be better than this, but with my current gear, this is actually much better. We have a Tempered Flush, which has reduced mana reservation. It is required, but it does give us a ton of extra crit multi. We have a Watcher's Eye with the Anger and Zealotry mod. The Anger mod with Fizz damage is extra fire is the most important mod to have. We have an Energy from Within over here. We could get a Corrupted one if we wanted to, with even more reduced reservation for even more quality of life, or Corrupting Blood Immunity, whatever. I just hadn't gotten one. We do need this 30-point node on the tree, just because I wasn't able to fill it out on gear, stuff like that. We want to look at the gear real quick. Wait, is there anything else notable on this tree? Oh yes, we do take Avatar of Fire, we do take Zealous Oath. We do want all this because this gives a ton of ES, and then we want as much crit multi as we possibly can take, so we're taking all the crit multi we possibly can take. And then basically all the damage nodes and everything else, yes. I think that the tree is pretty much self-explained at this point. As far as gear is concerned, the only required gear... we have to... hold on. We have to resummon the Kiwi because the Kiwi is not sitting right. Sorry. The only required gear, I would say, are obviously a Shavs. If you're going low life, a Shavs is just basically mandatory. There are other ways to get cast damage, does not bypass Energy Shield, but this is just one of the easiest and one of the best and most reliable. I happen to have a white socket, so I can swap out Minefield and Swift Assembly. I prefer Swift Assembly for clearing, but Minefield is obviously better for single target, undeniably speaking. Then Presence of Chayula, or Chayula, however you want to pronounce it. This is also mandatory in the build. It gives us a bunch of Chaos Res, it gives us a bunch of ES, and cannot be stunned, which is really nice. And all attributes we actually need. Circle Language, again, this is mandatory in the build. You want the Herald of Ash buff effect. That is the most important stat. The secondary stat, you want to be the increased fire damage while affected by Herald of Ash. It can be another one, but these are the main two you want together. These are what you're looking for. I would say these three are mandatory, and then a Prism Guardian is also mandatory for the build. And then a helmet with at least 3% reduced mana reserved. You could... I don't know if you can get this on other pieces of gear, but at least 3% mana reserved. I happen to craft this with Beneficence, and I happen to get a really, really nice helm out of it. You can get higher mana reserved, and you can probably drop it from some other pieces or some other places, but I only have 3% to work with. Obviously, a higher roll would be better, but I believe that is mandatory. I believe those are the only things that are mandatory. I will hover over my gear, but essentially you just want as much ES as possible. And as much resistances on everything as possible, and aspect on the spider on at least one piece of your gear. So that's the helm, the gloves, the boots. This ring is insane. You don't need anything like this ring, but the stats and stuff are what you're looking for. Again, this belt is an insane belt. You don't need exactly this belt, but you do want as much ES as possible, and resists if you need them here would be very nice, because this build is very, very tight on your resistances, mostly because of the way that I've geared with this belt. This belt takes up a ton of my resist spot. But then just a really, really nice wand that does a lot of damage. If you can get +1 to fire skill gems, that would be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I think I have everything. We have a Bottle of Faith. Bottle of Faith is absolutely not mandatory for the build, but it does make you do a lot more damage and makes things a lot just nicer in general. It's just a huge damage increase. It is absolutely not mandatory. Taste of Hate, not mandatory, but very, very quality of life. Very good damage increase. Diamond Flask is mandatory. With Bleeding is mandatory unless you have a Corrupting Blood and you want to take a risk, but I would say this is mandatory. And then an Enduring Mana Flask of Warding. This is just this is such a great flask. It solves all your mana issues, is always up. It is just really, really good for a lot of different builds. Do not sleep on the Enduring Eternal Mana Flask of Warding. It is a very, very good flask. And then a Chemist Quicksilver. This build is very, very slow. It does not clear fast at all. We can go ahead. We can look at we'll look at some of the clear speed, and the clear speed, as I said, it's nothing to write home about. This is with Minefield, so it also feels a little sluggish. I think I prefer Swift Assembly, but it's not bad. It plays very safe. It's not the slowest build I've ever played by far, but it's definitely nothing to write home about. But it wasn't built to map with, although it does it very, very safely and reliably. It just doesn't do it quickly. It was built to boss with, so we'll go ahead and we'll skip over to the boss kill. And this is actually, I actually forget to pop my Vault Righteous Fire here, but this is what the damage looks like on Ella has been without Vault Righteous Fire, which is extremely a lot of damage. So I'm sure after seeing that, you're interested, you know, what are the damage numbers? What are we looking at here in POB? Now that I've explained this a little bit more, you look at my tooltip damage, it just says my average damage is 300k. As we all know, tooltip is a complete lie. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at the path of building. And on path building, this is my actual live imported character, except this is not correct and this is correct. This is my actual imported character. Just under 4 million total damage. The reason we take this node, as you can see, is it gives us a little bit extra unreserved mana to play with, which just allows us to toss down extra mines, which is just a very nice quality of life thing. The build, the pathing is as efficient as it can possibly be. You can't really cut points, you can't really add points. It's very hard to move things around. It was a very hard choice between these two or leveling to level 96. I am not crazy enough to go to level 96, but yeah, and then the POB will have everything in here. The main thing is we essentially have Flame Dash linked with Arcane Surge, and a Vault Righteous Fire. We have Summon Skitterbots, Herald of Ash, Vault Discipline, and an Enlightened 4. That is also mandatory. And then in the Prism Guardian itself, we have Anger, Zealotry, and Hatred. And then in 1-4 link, we have a cast when damage taken, Orb of Storms, Culling Strike, Combustion. This is basically just convenience for bossing. The Culling Strike is very nice, and the Combustion adds a lot of extra damage. So this is just very convenient bossing setup, and being cast when damage taken, automating it is just very nice. And then we have another cast when damage taken setup, Wave of Conviction, Curse on Hit Flammability. This strips a ton of resists. It actually strips 69 fire res total, giggity, with another 19 coming from Combustion. These are both a level 1 cast when damage taken and a level 1 Wave of Conviction and Orb of Storms. The neat thing about this is you can swap the Orb of Storms and the Wave of Conviction as you please, depending on which one you want to actually do the Curse on Hit and which one you want to do the Combustion and Culling Strike. That is completely up to you. These damage numbers are actually not completely accurate, but they are. This is when I was doing slightly less damage. I can go ahead, we can bring out the calculator now. Calculate our actual current damage. We'll just say 4 million is what we're currently dealing with, and then we have 23 mines active, about 92 million damage with Righteous Fire up. So these are close. We're doing just a little bit more than these say right here. So this is what the damage numbers look like, completely unbuffed with just flasks. This is what you'll usually have for like Shaper, Elder, Uber, Cirrus. That's what you'll usually have for most bosses. This is what you usually have for most map bosses, Conquerors, Guardians, etc., Metamorphs. This is the damage you're looking at. And then if you want to run actual Righteous Fire for your max output, it is technically possible. You will degen very fast, but you will output a crap ton of damage very fast as well. Anyway, I will leave this POB in the description below. But I hope this was informative. This is like the third time that I've tried recording this. I've done a lot of different things. Put a lot of work into this build, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It is what I would say in its completely finalized state. I cannot figure out a way to make it any better. Upgrades for it are very, very minor and ridiculous, but again, it has been a ton of fun to play and a ton of fun to min-max, and I can highly recommend playing this build. And yeah, anyway, my name has been Xenogard. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Just kidding, editing Xeno here. I meant to leave you guys with a Cirrus kill, so here's a fully built, finalized version of the build, Awakener level 8 Cirrus kill. Full kill for you guys, so enjoy. Thanks for watching. Peace.